you're always been a go-getter, and we've always had very like heart-to-heart conversations, and I've really gotten to know you on a deeper level. And I'm just like, I want the world to hear your story, because I feel that, it's I think that, yeah, you deserve to speak your truth. And also, like, I feel like it's more needed, like, for people to really hear what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I just think there's been a huge shift. Like, you and I have been in the entertainment industry for a very long time. That's how you and I met. And I think there's been a shift where the vulnerability and our true stories are now wanting to be heard. And it's taken me a really long time to get comfortable with what that meant and what I was ready to share, because it's such a personal journey. But I'm in a good place right now that thank you for even having an outlet for people like me to talk about what that means. And hopefully, other people's stories have helped me. And I just hope to, I guess, pass that baton if that could help anyone as well,
I love that. And I love that you said that other people's experiences helped you, because that's exactly.
Oh, 100%. It's like the people that I gravitate towards, and I hear their story and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not weird. Or, because it could be such because I just remember in my healing journey, I felt like I was completely alone. I felt a little bit crazy for a short amount of time, and I didn't know what was going on. So I was like, where do I go to?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. Well, this is what this is for. And I think obviously, you're doing so great at really building a community. And I think a lot of people look up to you. And I think putting a different light.
No, absolutely. And for me, I just think I'm at a juncture in my life where it's important to, number one, be honest and be very vulnerable. And obviously, being in front of the camera as a TV host, we're programmed to look perfect, say perfect things, and everything's a filter, right? Like, without the filter, I even get self-conscious. But being a TV host and being in front of the camera for so long, you kind of end up being conditioned to think a certain way, and the vulnerability, your truth, your honesty was always like shunned. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a really great space where I'm at right now. I have my own company and just really, like I said, I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, so let's dive in, because I honor your time, and I like keeping this like 30 minutes.
Okay,
like,
cool. I'm open to
it. I think we all have a short
attention span, of course. Like, there's people on here, they're like, get to the meat. I want to go to my TikTok videos, right?
Yes, so we'll do that. So I would love to hear what it was like before you started doing a lot of the inner work and the mindfulness and all that, everything that comes after we learned a lot of lessons.
Of course.
So, I want to hear what it was like for you.
I would just have to say that I was very lucky at an early age to start my career in broadcasting. And I started as a Miami Dolphins cheerleader when I was 19. Right. I'm 39, and I need to give that bird's eye view, because a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes I don't register my age on camera, but it's been a really, really long journey. I just think being catapulted in the world of entertainment, it was amazing. It always was amazing. And I think I just got on a journey where it was fast paced, go, 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 trying to reach the next level of success to the point where I didn't really stop to, number one, and breathe or really get to a point of gratitude. Like, I always knew I was lucky, but I was always just at, what's the next step to achieve? What's the next level of payment bracket to achieve? It was just like, go, 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 go. And at the moment, I put so much emphasis on my success as a TV host and as a producer that at the moment I didn't allow myself to take care of myself personally, emotionally, spiritually. And I'm an only child, and I come a Catholic family. And although there was some really important pillars, my focus was like on the prize, whatever that was. And I think it was just getting to the next level. There was a certain time in my life that I wanted to be the next Aaron Andrews. It was just like, that's what it looked like. Working for the Florida Panthers for 4 seasons, I really got my legs, let's say, and I got a taste of what that looked like. I got a lot of great job opportunities, and it was just like, at the time, I was married for 3 years. I got divorced, and I think it was just, I glide over it now, but there was a lot of self-sacrifice at the time that I wasn't paying attention to. And I think in my mind, it's like, yeah, I wanted to make a certain amount of money and I wanted a certain amount of notoriety. And guess what? I got it all.
I got the exterior success. I made it. I'm supposed to be super happy.
And I was like, and for me, that looked like I got a job with the WWE. And at the time, I had no idea what that. I mean, I knew what the wrestling was, right? But I got offered a dream job, the paycheck, traveling the world, the notoriety, And remember, I come from a place of like very in the box success at that moment.
Right, you had an image.
I had an image. Yeah, and it was like, this is what it looks like next. This is what it looks like, and I was doing all the things and wearing all the hair extensions and wearing all the dresses and this whirlwind, and I got there and I was like, I'm unhappy.
Wow. What was that like? Like what hit you when you achieved, right? You got to the top, WWE.
Like for me it was just, and everybody, and remember, it's all such a different journey, but for me was traveling the world and being completely alone in a hotel.
Wow.
And I was like,
alone in a hotel without the cameras,
without the camera, exhausted, and really being afraid to be alone with my thoughts and my emotions. I had just gotten over a relationship, and this was like after my divorce, and I just started getting into these relationships that weren't fulfilling, and I was kept on running into the same type of situations with relationships, and I was alone in hotel. You know what I mean? It's just like when you're alone with your thoughts, it could be
like a train.
Exactly. And then what do we do to numb that? And then things just started to get tougher and tougher. And then I realized that I was incredibly unhappy. And then my contract didn't get renewed with the WWE.
So that was like within, you started getting sad. Like you were just like.
Well, remember, I was on this journey of like this on-camera personality. I got there, I'm like, I'm unhappy, and then it got taken away. And I was like, I realized that I created an identity that I didn't know what that looked like outside of success.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And for anyone, for you, has been the roughest, but also the most eye-opening.
Yeah, and like now when I go to conferences, or when I used to, with universities and whatnot, I really have to be honest with my story and my experience, because that's really what led me to my entrepreneurship and becoming a businesswoman. But there was a lot of pain associated with that, because I thought what my identity was taken away, and then so who was I without an on-camera career?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I had to get really honest with myself. And
what did that look like for you? So let's say the contract. So if you put yourself back there,
honestly, it was literally rock bottom. It was rock bottom. I hit a horrible depression, like really, really bad depression. I was getting out of a relationship that was the ultimate breakup relationship that really steered myself into my healing journey, because as a woman, I was like I was questioning my self-worth. Who was I without this relationship that I thought was going to go a certain way? Who was I without that career that I thought I built and sacrificed my whole life for? And I moved to Orlando from Miami, but mind you, when you move and go somewhere else, you're just like, okay. It was a huge change, right? I really feel like the rug was really taken from under me, and I had to ask myself some serious questions. And it's funny because I started to document what that looked like. I didn't have the friends that I thought were going to be there when I needed people. And I'm not
reaching out to them. And
I started reaching out. I started reaching out to a childhood friend that I've known for 18 years. I needed a place to bunk because I didn't know what my next move was. I
remember talking to you at that time.
I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know what my next move was. I started getting offered some jobs with a couple of teams with the NFL. I didn't want to do that anymore because I knew I knew that's what I knew, but I didn't want to do it anymore because I'm like, that's not where my happiness lies anymore. So I really needed to ask some serious questions. And what made the shift, I always wanted to launch my own business. I always wanted to launch my own company as like coaching people in their business and leadership and media coaching. And marketing was always my thing. And then that took a huge shift as to like, what does that look like too? Because, you know, being an on-camera personality or creative to shifting a mindset to an entrepreneur, that took a long time for me to really believe in myself. I knew.
Of course. That takes a lot of I am enough kind of like, am I okay by myself without this,
without the corporate structure, without, you know, doing it my way. So that was a very clumsy, I landed in it clumsily, but I actually made a decision to not continue to live this extravagant, lavish lifestyle that I was living at the moment. And I decided that I was going to sleep on one of my really good friend's couch. I'm like, I'm going to do this for 6 months. Thank God. I did it on purpose. And I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell my dad because my dad, remember, only daughter, knowing that I was living on a couch purposely, he was like, excuse me? But I knew,
losing your mind kind of thing. Like
what are you doing? But for me, I knew I had to make that shift, that aggressive shift, to really start to shift the mindset. I moved from Orlando back to Fort Lauderdale, and at the moment I actually got a contract for motorsports to host motorsports. So I got a gig on the side. Guys, I had no idea what motorsports was. Like my gift is improvisation, and I'm gonna learn it. But I traveled the country again, doing my sports thing, but on the side, I launched my business. But so I like to create context because I was still posting pictures on social media that I was happy, glamorous, skinny, loving life. Like, look at me. Inside, I was dying. I was dying, and I didn't know. I was going through a horrible breakup at the time as well. So everything that I thought my life was just going, it was really the best thing of my life, but it was very humbling. And at the moment, I didn't know what was happening. I knew something was happening. Not just my heart was being broken, but my identity was being challenged. And my spiritual beliefs were being challenged too, because I was like, if you do X, Y, and Z, why isn't this happening? So I needed to start to search. And I think the catalyst of it all was like, I was going through a really hard mental state of depression, you know, and like depression is real. It happens to all of us. It happens to, I mean, like, remember, my job was to look perfect on television, but I literally was like, oh my gosh, I thought my life was over. And
what was that like for you? So depression, because I think everything is so personal.
You know, depression for me was just like pretending everything was okay, but being in a bed for, you know, or on the couch just crying my eyes out. I didn't want to see friends. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Like some people would check up on me, but I would be pretending that I was okay. And it was honestly, it was the darkest days of my life. Like there was like, I knew that I needed help, but I didn't know how to ask for help. And it just got to a point where I think for me, the ultimate point was like, I need to ask for help or I'm going to die. Like that's where I
really felt like you were dying inside. And I know that feeling. I think it's so personal.
It's horrible.
But it's horrible. It literally feels like you're dying. Like
no, like I literally, I was like, you couldn't eat it to death. You couldn't drink it to death. I was ready to do it. I was thinking some really dark and horrible thoughts, and it wasn't never in alignment with who I was. But remember, really great actress, smiling, everything's fine. But inside I was like, you need help or else you're gonna die, whatever that meant at that moment, you know? And I just remember there was a moment that I said I wanted to end it all. And I knew like, okay, now that I'm here, by the grace of God, creator or something, I was just like, so I asked my really good friend, she was going to a theta healer. And I was like, I don't care where that is, but I'm going because I really trust my friend. Look, girl, I would have like, I can joke about it now, but I was like, listen, I was at the brink of joining a cult, becoming a sister wife, like whatever it was to create
desperation. I know.
Seriously.
In that moment.
So I went to a theta healer, and it's a healing modality. It's like It's like going to a therapist, but it's a little bit more in depth. It has to do with meditation, and it's very similar to Reiki. I mean, it's a little existential to really explain right now, but I was like, I'll go. And that literally was the beginning of my journey, because that's really when I was able to just talk to somebody as to what I was feeling and why I was feeling it, and really unearth everything that I had been suppressing for so long. Right. And the first time that I went, I felt like I could breathe again. But then that opened my heart and mind to where I am right now. And let me tell you, I can't wait, because I think like in a couple of years, when I accomplish more things, I want to write about my spiritual journey, my healing, and how that changed my business. That is,
it's a reflection.
It's so aligned. It's not even funny, but like so a healing journey is so personal. Like some people call it spirituality, like whatever it is. For me, it just became my spiritual healing journey. You know what I mean? Because like it really put me on the path to the woman that I am right now, and healing my subconscious thoughts that I didn't know were there. Right. Understanding what it was to be still with your thoughts, your good thoughts, your bad thoughts, and really differentiating what was real and what was not. And to be able to stay still with pain is the most horrible experience ever. But
right. And what was that like for you? So when you went to the center, how did they start helping you? What were some things that they started doing with you that helped you start being still, but then also being able to manage it? Because I think a lot of people are not aware of how
I mean, like there, I go to Tanya Lester. If you guys want information, DM me. Because after that, I was like, I need to scream from the mountaintops. I was ready to bust out on Broadway to be like, oh my gosh, this is helping me. I need to tell the world as to like what theta healing is. And I've sent all my friends, and everybody raves about her. And like I said, it's just such a personal experience. She was just able to help me talk through what I was feeling, and just help me tap into my subconscious and what it was, the monkey mind, what's real and what's not real, and just help me work through my personal stuff. And it wasn't just like what I was currently feeling or a heartbreak, because people are like, you're going through heartbreak. No, it just really opened up all the unhealed parts of myself that I kept on bringing to every relationship. Right. And like, I thought my success on camera was going to heal it too. Absolutely not. And I go to her almost every month. And in regards to like, I do a lot of meditating. I do a lot of just reading about because it's science too. That's what I love about what I'm doing in my spiritual journey. It all correlates with science, and that's what I love. And like I said, it's such a person, like what I believe is not what you're going to believe, but I believe in a creator, and I believe in a higher purpose. And when I was really able to dig through all that, and listen, healing is a forever journey. You're not like, I'm healed.
Everything is still fine.
Hey, no way. Like, you learn how to be alone with your thoughts. You learn that you need to deal with it. And if I want to have a beautiful relationship and have a family eventually, I don't want to pass down these things that I've never healed to them. Right.
Right.
And the more
that's one of your biggest motivations, like, was that one of your biggest motivations?
It definitely was, because like I love my parents so much, and they've done the best with me. And then I kept on seeing that I wasn't ending up in relationships that were making me happy. Right. So I was like, if I'm going to have that beautiful love that they have, like, I need to continue to work on myself to hopefully, manifest a partner that I'm looking for. And even in business, how am I supposed to teach people how to be successful in business and leadership if I'm not walking the walk? And that's when like everything kind of hit. I healed inner parts of me. Like I said, I'm still healing inner parts of me. I started working on myself. My business started to like boom, 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 boom. And like now, 5-6 years later, I have the most amazing business with a business partner, doing everything that I've ever loved. But I pride myself that I really try to work on myself every day. Sometimes it's super easy. Sometimes it's still incredibly hard.
And what are those things that look like for you? And I love your story, and I love how,
and that's just a short version. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because it gets,
yeah, no, of course.
it gets
the details
yeah,
of like everything that's coming up, you know, like
yeah. But you know what? Nobody like, you know, when you're in the public eye. I mean, I'm not in the public eye as much as I was before, you know. But stay tuned. Some cool things are happening. But
yes,
you know, people didn't know that I was suffering so much, you know, as a host for the WWE, as a host for the Florida Panthers, as a face with big organizations. Like I was really suffering, and if I went through that, I know a lot of people go through it, and thank goodness we're talking about mental health. Thank goodness it's that stigma is being lifted, you know, and you know, depression is real and comes in all shapes and sizes. And I know when I need to check myself. And even during quarantine, when things started to happen last year, being by myself in my home for a couple months, I was also going through a breakup then.
But good for you for putting yourself there, because I think a lot of people they're so afraid to be in a relationship because of the heartbreak that they just abstain from it. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people that stop dating.
Yeah, of course. Look, and I don't blame them, but
right?
you know, it's kind of, and I think the older you get, we carry so many burdens. But if we don't heal from whatever it is that we need to heal, we're going to keep on bringing certain, you know, it's not the other person's fault all the time. It's a mirror. You know?
Right. And what is it like for you today, Andrea? I would love to hear, what are some things that really help you to stay grounded, to constantly be doing, because I think it's the smaller things.
Oh, honestly,
the biggest impact.
Yeah, the smaller things is really what creates your biggest effect. Like your small habits every single day, it's really is what's going to make you a success or not a success in your world. I mean, for me, my mental health is incredibly important. And mental health, you know, my mind, my body, my soul. Self-care is incredibly important. And people are like, yeah, self-care. Like, yeah, self-care. You know what I mean? So
I'll be in the bathtub with wine.
yeah, like if that's self-care to you, that's super cool. But you know, self-care is really, you know, for me, it's working on my affirmations, my daily affirmations. I remember getting really aggressive with my daily affirmations and understand what affirmations, you know, what that meant to me and what that meant to my business. And when I started doing that on a daily basis, and it's such a personal experience, I started to see a change, you know, and I read a lot, and like I really try to create a lot of, I want to be able to understand things on a scientific level. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be like, ooh, poof, a math, poof, magic. You know what I mean? And for me to connect dots as to why I have certain habits and why it has become a subconscious, you know, way of my life, and it's coming out in, you know, acne. I'm just giving an example. Like it does. And that's what I started to understand, that, okay, if I want to live a certain type of life, I need to create habits, but I need to start from the root level. I mean, for me, it's affirmations. For me, it's praying hardcore, you know, to, you know, for me, it's like creator, and just going to therapy and just really working out my things. And, you know, I started to attract the people that I've always wanted in my life, from the most amazing business partner. And listen, it gets lonely, because when I started really working on myself, a lot of people started to go to the wayside, and then I'm like,
your whole foundation. I think that's why it's so scary to start it, because I think it's realizing that, oh shit, I'm gonna lose everything. It's your foundation gets
it definitely, I just like what it, like I said, it's kind of like the carpet gets just taken right from under you, you know. But it sounds scary, and it could be scary, but I say that because, like, the people that have experienced it or that are going through stuff, it's okay. It is okay. And I urge people to surround yourself with people that will listen to you, that understand it, and that will hold your hand through whatever you may be feeling. And if people don't understand you or chastise you for your truth, they may not be your people.
Right.
You know, and
that's okay.
That is That is okay. And right now I'm in a place where I'm still healing. I realized, look, there was a moment where I thought, I'm healed. And then like a year later, a whole wave of the same bullshit happened. And I was like,
and then it's like, I thought I healed this. How many more times? It's like sometimes forever. And I think it's accepting that.
Accepting that, okay, I'm forever a work in progress. I'm not that perfect image that, these corporations create of you, when you are, when you're on TV, or when you're an influencer now, it's like you need to be happy, you know what I mean? And that's what people just post their highlights, and that's what I did, and everybody thought things were great. People didn't know why my soul was dying. literally And you guys, like, and I always say this, I know what depression looked like. When I had my first bout of depression, when I went through my divorce, and this was 100 years ago, it feels like a whole different lifetime. I got an antidepressants for a couple of months, and it was the first time I ever experienced that. And then when I started going through this specifically, I decided that I wasn't going to take antidepressants. It was a personal experience. And then, I went to a therapist, and I really was able to personally get myself out of it. It was just a decision that I made at the time. But the great thing is, like, I took action. Before, I was proud of myself that I went to a doctor, and I was like, and they're like, here's an antidepressant. I was like, thank you. But this second bout of it was like, it was a lot more traumatic. I was a lot older, and I'm like, this is something different than I went through with my divorce. This was just like complete identity was rocked to the core, And then, like, I want to tie it back to business. And when I really was able to launch my business and just do the baby steps and grow and really come to my own as an entrepreneur, it goes hand in hand. My healing journey has gone hand in hand with my business and my growth and the success of it. And I could never attribute my success as an entrepreneur. And if people don't know, like, I own a creative consultant agency called Throne Media. And
yes, you do.
Yeah, I am.
Yes, you
with
do.
my amazing business partner, Lizzie Molina. And we create brands and big scale productions and smaller scale productions for athletes. I'm still in the world of sports, which is crazy.
But now you're implementing your voice in it.
Yeah, and it's interesting
because under the corporation.
Yeah, like, now it's different, because before I was a TV producer and TV host. Now I have the eye of that, the TV host, the producer, and now as a consultant, and really tying all the knots that I've learned, and just doing that now is really awesome, right? Because I'm doing it on a bigger scale, on my terms, and at the same time being very honest with the journey. Because remember, if I'm representing the WWE or the NFL or the NHL, I'm not, it's you have to be careful, right? How you represent a company. But the fact that I represent me first, me second and third, and it's the culture of our company to be very open and honest, and our spirituality, and just, guys, we're all human, and everybody pretends that we don't feel these things. And I'm just a proponent right now as to what I went through, and the healing journey doesn't stop. And
I love that.
But like I said, in regards to what I do to help myself, it's not like, just affirmations will do it. Like, no, I go every month to my theta healer, my therapist. I keep on working on the stuff that keeps on coming up. I stay alone with my thoughts, and I really
you start developing a new relationship with
yourself, because I realized I was afraid to be alone with myself, because before I was going out 24/7 partying, and I wouldn't feel, and I would numb it, right? And now I don't. I'm like, okay, this came up, I want to know why. Then a little bit digging, and I'm just currently I'm in a relationship. I'm with an amazing man. Shout out to my love, Sebastian. I'm incredibly open, and I also like to lead by example, and I'm very honest. Now I'm like, my honesty is to a fault, but I have to. I'm like, this is coming out of my mouth, but I have to, and you just need people around you that support you when you're incredibly flawed, and that are there for your triumphs. Really, you are the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Please take care of that. Look, and I also, and this was the
soul.
This was the first read that I had when I was going through the journey. And then when it started to talk about it, I was like, this, if you guys read anything, this is the Untethered Soul was really, I have like 5 copies I always give to people.
Wow.
Yeah.
You do that with that one. I do that with the Mastery of Love. But Untethered Soul, the last person that came last Monday, she couldn't stop talking about the book.
And I'm rereading it. I'm definitely rereading. And the 4 agreements really helped me. And just like little things like that, you know what I mean? Because like when you start reading about what you're going through, you're like, okay, so, it just really helped me. And I write my affirmations. I go to therapy. I talk about my feelings. And I just want to be a better version of myself every single day.
I love that, Andrea. And thank you so much for sharing so vulnerably. I'm here like, keep going.
Girl, I don't know. It's like, listen, I like to tell my age. I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 in April. Because it's such a journey. I started in this industry when I was 19. So do the math. Like, it took me a lifetime, it feels, to get to a point where I felt broken, not good enough, on the edge of desperation. I felt, it was a dangerous time in my life because I was in a very dark place. To completely shift my focus and my identity and understand that your career is not who you are. I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm a creative. Like, me being a TV host is not my identity. So understanding who you are at the core was really important, but I had to relearn that, and I'm still learning that, but little by little, it's a journey. And just really, and you know what? I was talking to my business partner, Lizzie. Sometimes, like, when you're in this space, you could be a little bit harder on yourself, because if you make the mistake that you did before, you're just like, oh, how dare I should have known better.
The shame. Yeah.
I read it 18 times and I yelled at my boyfriend for not following, or like when I lose my shit on my boyfriend. How can I, you know what I mean?
Right. Like I know that.
Damn. And I try to lead by example, but then I lost it on. So those are the moments where you're just like, okay, it's okay to be human. It's okay to lose it. This is a journey. You know what I mean? And you're not better than anybody else. This is just your journey. And I think being honest about it is very, very important. And I'm still trying to understand what it looks like, what it means, I'm not like a poster child for like, oh, perfection. And yeah, I'm just here to be like, listen, we all cry the same, bleed the same, feel the same things. I'm just a little bit more vocal right now as to, I've been there, I've done that.
Vocal, Andrea, because you have a way to really share from your heart, and you're very authentic and honest. And
girl, thank you. I just think it's important because you guys, like, when I started feeling what I was feeling, I literally thought my life was over. I didn't know who to talk to. The people that I thought were there, they left. Bye-bye. And you're just like, oh my gosh. And I didn't want to let my parents down. So it's like, I just want to be that person that if somebody felt, what I was feeling, that it's okay. You're going to be completely fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, my love.
I love you, girl.
Thank
you so much. I'm so proud of you because I've seen the growth and the woman that you are becoming, and the world has to be ready for you, girl, because the fact that you are a vehicle to allow other people to talk and heal and just normalize this type of conversation, which before I would be like,
just stuck in your room and
it's so awesome, and I just appreciate you so much, and I love you. You guys, we've known each other for a very long time.
I met you like definitely over 10. I mean, I met you when I was like 22, 21, 22, and I'm 30. So
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we're like, oh, so
I know.
But we definitely have to catch up.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Andrea. I was looking at all the comments, like so many people.
I can't wait to see, because sometimes I get like,
yes, but yeah, people are thanking you for opening up with your mental health.
Well, I'm just thankful to all you guys, really. And I'm glad I didn't use that like extra filter.
I know. this is you, girl. And if anything, don't wear makeup, be free, no filter. You're beautiful. And thank you for sharing your truth, Andrea.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thank
All
you
right,
guys.
my guys. Bye, my love.
Bye.